The City of Hamilton is now working on opening its first hospice for children. The decision to move forward with the project happened at a council meeting last week. And as Hadi Azad tells us, parents who lost their children at a young age say a hospice would have provided some of the help they needed. Hadi joins us live from Dundas with the details. Good evening, Hadi.
Good evening, Taz. Well, the land behind me is where the children's hospice is going to be built. It's surrounded by residential homes and walking trails. Now, earlier today, I spoke to a mother who lost her baby back in 2017. Now, she says she's glad that a children's hospice is opening up in the city, even though it's long overdue.
McMaster is a world-class children's hospital, and we need a world-class hospice to go with it.
Maria and her husband, Andrew Wishart, spent months at McMaster Children's Hospital supporting Jack in his battle against a type of cancer that causes overproduction of white blood cells in the bone marrow.
We ended up living in the hospital for the next 7 months, going through multiple rounds of chemo and a round of biomeds and finally a bone marrow transplant. With the bone marrow transplant, it was successful, except that Jack caught a cold, and then he ended up with pneumonia. And because his immune system hadn't grown back, he couldn't fight it.
She says Jack passed away in May 7, 2017. Jack had aggressive chemo and he had to be monitored 24/7.
Living in a hospital, that tiny room becomes your kitchen, your family room, your living room. Everything happens in there. It's not meant for that. At a hospice, you're going to have a real bed with windows that open. And this hospice in Hamilton is going to be near trails with trees. It's going to be beautiful.
Danielle speaking.
Danielle Zuquette, the CEO of the Camp Care Network, says the hospice will be named after her son, Keaton, who died at age 7 in 2010 after 3 years of chemo treatments.
We have a world-renowned children's hospital, and we do not have hospice services. And every day that we don't have these are supports that our families who are living in the community don't have, and it is so important for us to get these doors open.
She says the future hospice will fill a regional gap in services.
Keaton's House, Paul Paletta Children's Hospice, is a place that will really help to bridge the gap that exists for a family with a seriously ill child in our community.
Camp Care Network wants to build the hospice next to Wentworth Lodge, a long-term care home on 41 South Street West in Dundas, which is around a 7-minute drive to McMaster Children's Hospital.
That allows us not only to have a continuum of care for the families, but also it means that we can share services, share costs, and make this a nimble, lean organization that's focused on the cost-effective, best care for kids.
This comes after a city council meeting last Wednesday. Councilors instructed staff to draft terms for a 49-year lease with an initial proposed annual rate of $25,000. The ribbon cutting for the Children's Hospice is going to happen in the spring of 2026. For more details, visit chch.com.